Hello YouTube. I got my I've already done the other side first, the spring. I decided to go ahead and replace the control arm bushings, although they weren't bad, slightly dry, dry cracking, but they were still good. I mean, there was no issues with them, but I didn't want to have to go into this thing one more time, so that's why I'm doing the bushings now with the spring, along with the springs. I went ahead and blasted and painted the upper and lower control arms. I couldn't do the right side. This side I was able to because I got the ball joint out easily. But got to replace the stop bumper here, and then the stop bumpers on both lower control arms. Sway bar bushings and all that stuff. Tie rod ends seem to be very snug and tight. I'm going to stay with them unless, they're easy enough to change out later on if they do start exhibiting signs of wear. But one of the things I did was I welded on the upper control arms. Have these bolts that go through right here and there, and although the bolt is serrated right there to keep it from turning, seldom does that ever really work out well. I mean, once in a while they'll hold, but I welded on these washers right here offset from the top of the bolt, and I was going to show you this. Why? It's because right there it can only go up against one way or the other for tightening or loosening whenever it comes time to do the alignment. See, look right here. I mean, some people might try to weld them in, but the bad thing about it is if you weld them in, then you can't pop them out to get the control arm out because they stick in there so far. Like on the other side, you'd have to remove the headers to get them off the end of the bolt, and I don't want to do that. So that's why I went with the washers, because if it turns a little bit, that's no big deal. Either way, as long as you can tighten the thing up, that's the whole idea. But you can get a wrench in, or maybe a wiggle socket in from underneath, but it's a pain in the butt for the person doing the alignment. That's why I went ahead and just welded those on, because that way they won't have any trouble loosening the nuts on the top side and throwing shims in as needed to correct the alignment, caster and the camber. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that. Not the most ideal situation there, but I had to have it kind of out of the way for that. But I've got to put the bushings in the lower control arm for this side, and then I can start putting it in. The bolts on the front were worn out deluxe. I don't know if somebody didn't get them tight at one time, like they'd done some front end work or whatever. And I'm going to show it to you here. The bolts were just worn. I'd never seen anything quite like it in my whole career doing this. Where is that sack? Man, let's see if I can find that one bolt. It would help if I was prepared for when I do this kind of stuff, but I always think I know exactly where something's at. It doesn't never quite work out that way. Let me see if I got that in the truck here. Well, I thought I brought that stuff. There it is. See that right there? I was worn the threads off. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It could have probably been put back in service, but it just had a lot of wear on that bolt, and I just don't like that. I'd already had another new bolt in my bolt collection that I use for the over the other side. It's got a long and a short bolt on the lower control arm, but I had to go get another bolt today to replace that one. Boy, I tell you what, it's tough finding long metric bolts of this size, so at least in this town here. I mean, granted, you could always get anything you want off the internet, but anyway, just thought I'd show you what's going on here. I said the other side's back together. Stereo is installed, and boy, it looks nice. Got to get lots of little things left to do here on our list. So, I mean, I got a long list of stuff here. We're getting there. Have a great day, y'all.